picture. Across Scotland, there could be a little bit more in the way of cloud. Most showers easing away, though we could still see one or two just drifting in across the Northern Isles, perhaps a few brighter spells across parts of Aberdeenshire. There'll be a mix of cloud and also some brighter spells across Northern Ireland, but elsewhere across England and Wales, it's going to be a mostly bright start, plenty of blue skies around for many areas, and it's likely tomorrow that we'll see less in the way of clouds. That means temperatures are going to climb that little bit higher, but we still do have a fairly fresh northerly wind, which is going to continue to make things feel that little bit cooler around coastal areas, and still some patchy cloud expected across Scotland, which may produce one or two showers across the far northern coasts of Scotland there. But otherwise, it's another dry, pleasant day ahead. Temperatures pushing into the low 20s across many southern areas, but even towards the north, pushing into the high teens here. So in sheltered spots, it should still feel rather pleasant in any bright or sunny spells. Then to finish off the day, any clouds soon clearing away. It will be a very similar night where under those clearer skies it's going to turn rather chilly. And like I said, high pressure holding on for the first part of the week, and then towards the end, more rain expected and also some showers, and turning rather humid.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the biggest, greatest Great British giveaway of the year so far. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, this brand new McClure Fusion could be yours. We'll also boost your bank account too with a further £35,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like.
For a chance to win, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB23 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 23rd of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Portillo. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
All too often, people will be sitting at home watching a press conference live, and they'll hear loads of questions being asked, and they'll be thinking, that's not my question. That's not my concern.
We don't care whose feathers we ruffle. We ask the questions that you want answering.
You're all standing on the street protesting and want to have an open discussion.
My name's Patrick Christie's. I do a show for GB News in the UK. Is it possible to talk to you quickly?
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, this is the best view ever of Whitehall, looking out across all the tractor drivers of England who've come together to make their point.
Hello, so as you can see, I'm here in Westminster as the protest begins.
Yes, I'm very much in the thick of it.
Look, we're challenging narratives here at GBNews, and that's what sets us apart.
It's Saturday night and this is the Saturday 5, the UK's biggest Saturday night telly show. I'm Darren Grimes along with Will Kingston, Dr Renee, Trey Lowe and Kai Wilshaw. Tonight on the show...
Andy, we're going broke. Stop throwing away our money.
Who knew some boat migrants are so dangerous they need a manual to tell them how not to be?
Labour says we've got a misogyny problem. I'll tell you where it's coming from and it ain't reform.
And Harry and Meghan are coming home.
Reform UK are finally bottling it.
It's 6 p.m. and this is the Saturday 5. Welcome to the Saturday 5, and what a week it's been. Honestly, I've seen hen parties in Benidorm with more self-control than Britain's had this week. Up in County Durham, we closed a loophole that allowed family homes to be quietly turned into migrant HMOs without residents actually getting a say. And the left basically has suggested, my friends, that it was Kristallnacht with wheelie bins. Well, the loophole is closed, and if the Home Office contractor and the woes that it actually pays in order to find accommodation for illegal migrants want to transform a once quiet residential street, they'll now have to come through council front door. And in Durham, well, that particular door has a light blue rosette and a, well, not so polite two-fingered salute waiting behind it. And then the government's response, as Dr Renee just said, to that migrant crime, leaflets explaining how women should be treated. Leaflets. I've heard it all now, I really have. Put the knife down. Page 3 says that unwanted touching may cause offence. What's next? A colouring-in book on women's rights? Maybe a suffragette? If a grown man, ultimately, my friends, needs a pamphlet, right, to explain that women must give consent, but he doesn't need integration, he needs deportation. And still, at least somebody may be safe in Britain sometime soon. Prince Harry. That's right, as Trey says, with jubilation. The Ginger Whinger has reportedly been on the blower to Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, trying to get his taxpayer-funded security restored. Years of telling Britain that we're a racist, backward and dangerous rock. Suddenly, the British state, though, is worth calling up. Harry wants privacy so badly, he wants 6 armed officers and a new acting gig for the Duchess. And then I was cancelled this week over a battered sausage. Now, don't start the jokes. This is not that kind of show. This is a serious show. Well, I went and visited a chip shop in Stanley, and I posted that I'd enjoyed my meal, my battered sausage, went down a treat. And the local tolerance brigade, I assume Kai knows them, reacted as though the fryer had breached the Equality Act. They threatened boycotts all over Grimesy enjoying a sausage. I'm told that the photograph caused considerable distress, and to be fair, it was quite the substantial sausage. I do wonder if there may have been the feelings of left-wing inadequacy fathomed because of the size of that sausage. Working-class solidarity, comrades, right? Unless the working class votes the wrong way or buys the wrong sausage that a right-winger is enjoying, in which case you burn down the fryer. Right? And meanwhile in Britain, what we also found out this week, 1.3 million foreign nationals are claiming universal credit. Britain is effectively an all-inclusive resort. Well, I mentioned Benidorm at the start. All-inclusive resort where the British taxpayer wears the wristband, but I nearly said something there, everybody else gets the drinks, the free drinks. What a week. Well, anyway, joining me, we've got the band back. is Kai will show handsome, fond of knitted garments, and proof that miserable wokery can survive prolonged exposure to expensive moisturiser. And Trey Lowe, who believes that every crisis is an opportunity for the Liberal Democrats. A meteor heading towards Earth, my friends, the ideal opportunity for yet more fence sitting. And Dr. Renee, well, bringing the NHS bedside manner that Britain actually needs. Sit down, stop whining, and no, you're not allergic to work. Get on with it. And Will Kingston, from a former penal colony, to explain why Britain is now an open prison run by the inmates. Kai brings the left, Trey brings the fence, Renee brings the diagnosis, and Will, well, he's equipped with a flamethrower. And I've got a sausage, so that flamethrower will come in handy. Right, let's get into it, my friends. Yes, it's Saturday night. I always want to... Every time I read that, my friends, I get Saturday night. I really get it in my head. You're with the Saturday Five, my friends. Over the next 3 hours, you'll have the biggest debates, the hottest topics and entertaining interviews. And we'll crack on with tonight's first discussion. I'm going to go first. Why not abuse the chair if you're in the middle, eh? Bridget Phillipson, right? She used to be the Education Secretary. She's now been demoted to Minister for Women and Equalities. Have a listen to what she had to say.
Apparently it's fine to call into question the identity of people who have a different colour skin and question whether or not they're British. I find it disgusting, and we are normalising racism. Okay. And I think we're seeing that in terms of attitudes towards women. I think we see that in terms of attitudes around racism. Mm-hmm. And what unites them is a desire to kind of take our country backwards.
Oh dear, Bridget. Demoted Minister for Women and Equalities for a reason. She's still actually unable, my friends, to tell us what a woman actually is. But she now bleats on to The Guardian that racism and misogyny are back in Britain. I can only assume, of course, that she blames Reform UK, the same Reform that cleaned up on her own patch in Sunderland. What a condescending load of nonsense from, quite frankly, a political pipsqueak that's ready for the political graveyard. What on earth has brought this on? She gives two examples. Believing that Trafalgar Square might be used for something other than mass Islamic prayer, given that Britain now has thousands of mosques. Apparently that's a problem. And Robert Jenrick saying he walked around Handsworth for an hour and a half without seeing another white face. Now, these are opinions that you'll hear in a pub, in a taxi and in a bus queue in Britain. And, well, actually, nowhere apart from a Labour Party office without actually a P45 arriving in the post shortly after. But here's the part that should have her ended her week as far as the embarrassment of what she actually said is concerned. On that same day, her cabinet colleague, Lucy Powell, was on LBC defending that infamous Home Office pamphlet, that leaflet handed to new arrivals explaining that in Britain, we don't rape women, we don't beat them, and we don't touch children.
Why is it necessary? What is the difference in cultures that we're experiencing, do you imagine?
Well, you know, people coming from other countries do have different cultures, and we have to be absolutely clear with people of how much we abide by the rule of law in this country, what the rule of law is about.
Well, I think we have to be absolutely clear with people that we don't touch women without their consent. I mean, I've heard pathetic drivel in my time, but that really took the biscuit. Powell said it was right and important because cultural norms elsewhere differ from our own. You read that again. A Labour cabinet minister admitting on national radio that not all cultures are equally valid, that ours may well be better, that they're worth protecting. That's the argument that the political right has been making for over a decade. And now the Labour Party has printed it at your expense to encourage illegals to keep them hands to themselves. So which is it, Bridget Phillipson? Is Britain a nation of woman-hating bigots? Or is that leaflet necessary for a reason? Because both claims cannot be true. The pamphlet, in my eyes, is the confession of what Labour has actually done and unleashed on our country. And this attack on reform is nought but a desperate deflection.
Darren, if instances of racism have increased in this country, it is entirely a result of the leftist project. It is a result of identity politics over the last 15 to 20 years, putting us all in racial boxes and then saying we need to look at the world that way. And it's a result of importing hundreds of thousands of people from racist cultures. The Muslim rape gangs was a racist project. It was an attack on white working class women. But of course, the left will never concede that other cultures can be and are racist. They will just say, well, the white people are the oppressors and therefore it's all your fault, the awful right-wing types.
That's a good point, Renee, because Lucy Powell actually said, we want, on what Will just mentioned as far as the rape gangs are concerned, we want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? OK, let's get that dog whistle out.
Yes,
That's what she said in the past.
There's two issues here. Will is absolutely right that if anyone has created a toxic environment, it is the left. But moreover, Britain is demonstrably the least racist country in the Western Hemisphere.
What about misogyny?
You know, how do you measure misogyny? I mean, really, how are they measuring this? We had this debate in the green room before we came on, and I said to Trey, I have never, ever felt that I have been suppressed because of my sex. Whatever I've achieved in life, I've achieved because I'm me and because of what I can achieve. But I really do think we need to stop this. The only reason they are saying this, Phillipson, Lucy, Powell, is because they want to get a dig at reform. It's the only reason. It is their entrance into let's have a go at those parties. It's for no other reason at all. And actually, I've had so many times, I've had leftists say to me that white people can't experience racism. It's a load of tosh.
Do you feel that actually being a woman in Britain has changed in the way that she describes?
No, I don't think it has. Trey and I had quite a deep conversation about this in the green room. I actually think what we're doing actually is we are splitting apart the sexes by telling women they can have absolutely everything at the level of a man and nothing else suffers. That's a lie. And we're telling men that they are toxic and women don't need them. And that's the division.
Trey?
Well, we had this conversation, but it was slightly different. I was saying historically, women definitely have been held back. You know, like I said, Dr. Renee is an incredible doctor. And I said, as great as she is, probably 100, 150 years ago, we would never have seen it. I think that's true, but I do disagree. And a lot of people on the left will hate me saying this. I actually think Britain is not racist to that level. I think people are incredibly tolerant in this country. But there definitely has been a resurgence on the right of weaponising race. It's not just a left problem. Definitely the left have done it, but the right are obsessed with identity politics.
Do you not
completely?
Think so? Do you not think?
You know, if there's a crime that's done, it's almost like people will wait and see. Well, is he brown? Is he Muslim? Great result. We're going to use that to forward our agenda.
What Will said. That's because people are very, very nervous about what is going on and frustrated that they don't get a say. So that's what that is about. But do you not think just access to the internet now, in whatever forum you're in, and I tell you what, over on Blue Sky, when Anne Widdecombe was killed, you wanted to see nasty, racist, horrible comments. You should have gone over there. Is it not just that people's views haven't changed, but it's just amplified now?
No, I think what's happening as well is it's social media as well, isn't it? It's almost like this echo chamber. I mean, the fact that I have to research certain things for this show, which I would never be interested in, for instance, things like ethno-nationalism, you could say I then get more and more and more of it. And I can only imagine if I was immersed in that and agreed with it, I'm just going to get more of it. I'm going to have this skewed view of anyone that's black or brown.
Before we're obligated...
Again, I wouldn't say the country's racist.
Yeah, before we're obligated to go to Kai, just quickly, Trey is doing what the left always does, and that is conflating race with culture.
Yeah.
We are culturalists on the right in this country. We're very concerned about incompatible cultures. And some of the things they are doing. We are culturalists. We believe that some cultures are better than others. Yeah. We believe that the British culture is better than the Eritrean culture.
Even that is an underlying racist assumption.
That is very...
It is.
No,
come on.
it has nothing to do with the pigment in your skin.
Yes, it does.
It goes to fundamental culture. I think it's better than... I think this culture is better than Bulgarian culture, for example. It's got nothing to do with white, black or brown.
It is.
Based on culture.
OK. Trey, before I come back to you, I am obligated under Ofcom rules to go to Kai. No, Kai, I've just had a very nice message from someone saying it's nice to see Kai back. He is the lesser of all evils.
And in a shirt.
Seen but not heard, I imagine.
In a shirt. I've been on the beds, the sunbeds.
Yes, you've had a wash.
I have.
Kai, though, I do have to ask, do you think that ultimately Will is right, that on the point Bridget was making, and then you have, in the same week, all of the furore over this leaflet that's gone out at taxpayer expense, that actually that leaflet is making the case that our culture is inherently better than the cultures of the foreign nationals coming here over in the boats.
Yeah, I think there has been a change on the left where we've been more willing to say, yes, of course, cultures are different, and to accept what's blindingly obvious. What I think they wouldn't agree with...
And she says that's racist.
But no, the distinction here, I think, is that on the right there are many, including, I think, Will, who would happily say that there are cultures that are inferior. And I don't think that people on the left, on the whole, think that or say that. Because, yes, you can have a culture that, on rights and so on, aren't in the same place that we are, for many different reasons, complicated reasons. So that makes it worse in some regards. Yes, I agree. But in other regards, it might not...
have to, a culture, though, that beats women, a culture that commits rape, and a culture that touches children, that you would argue that that's not...
On the whole is worse.
As far as our culture's concerned.
On the whole is worse, yes.
Darren, this reminds me of an interview Patrick Christie's did on Tuesday night with someone from a particular Muslim lobby group, when Patrick put to him that, well, in Afghanistan, women are treated as second-class citizens, there's the most horrendous human rights abuses. Surely you can concede that that is a disgusting culture. He said, well, look, the Taliban are doing some good things around infrastructure. That's literally the argument that Kai is making. It's absolutely nonsensical.
No, it is not. That is just not true. You don't have to completely write off an entire culture based on one element of it, Will. You are literally... if you took that, you would be exactly like the leftists saying, oh, you can write off the British Empire because it did certain bad things. None of us on this panel do that because we accept that it also did good things. There's nuance in this, Will, as you know. And where there's no nuance, of course, is from Will's side, who says, oh, if anybody's to blame, it's the leftist ideology. What a load of rubbish, and you know it.
Well,
the right and the left are guilty of putting people into identity buckets, aren't they?
You must accept everything you say. I agree with that there will be good bits and bad bits of everything. But surely you must agree the thing that puts these cultures morally below ours in whatever area you look, be it education, marriage, appearing in a court, you know, being accused of rape and being stoned to death, it's always women at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
All of those things, it's always about women.
Yeah, and it comes back to what Bridget Phillipson actually said, isn't it? And, whether we have a problem with racism in this country, a growing problem. Now, by and large, Britain isn't a racist country.
Isn't.
But of course, and you can't get rid of racism either. Racism will always be there.
Yeah.
But the point that she's making is that it seems that it's being normalised in many different ways, that racism is slightly on the increase in some ways. And if you look at the stats on attacks on synagogues, attacks on mosques,
hate crimes,
and the national emergency that the National College of Policing announced on violence against women and girls, how can you come to any other conclusion that things are getting worse?
Trey, do you look at what Bridget Phillipson said in the context of criticising those two events that Reform UK were purportedly guilty of that I mentioned? Do you look at those events and think, yes, she's right, Reform is a racist party?
I do not think Reform is a racist party, and I've said that again and again and again. I mean, how can you even slice that out? There are a lot of people who generally just fed up with the way the country's going in a two-party system. There are people who have legitimate concerns about migration. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens amongst same groups. I mean, I'm of Nigerian descent. Nigerians have kicked out Ghanaians how many times? You can't just put it down to race. But I think there are elements of it, though. When we're told, oh, there's too many black people on adverts, or I went to Birmingham and I didn't see anyone that looked like me, and it could have been me there, you know, Kerry Badenoch there.
So
like, these are all...
but
wait, let me finish. I think one of the reasons why Reform leads into it so much is because they're afraid of Restore. Restore definitely has a lot more ethno-nationalism, and I think they are trying to appeal to the kind of people who are thinking Reform doesn't go far enough. Let me go to Restore. I think there is an element of that.
I don't think Reform have changed their policies for the last 3 years. So Restore have been around for a minute.
It's not about policies, it's the stuff that comes out of people's mouths.
That's a load of rubbish. But all of those things you've just said, I do not view as racist. If we have a country that's 88% white, then 88% of our adverts should have white people in.
Why?
Because it represents our country.
And I think the issue with that was people are sick of being lectured to. It's not that they are sick of seeing black people on TV.
OK, we'll get to more of this, no doubt, throughout the rest of the show. But now, though, it's time for our brand new Great British Giveaway. And it's the biggest so far. It's your chance to win a brand new four-berth motorhome. There are so many jokes I could make there. Worth £75,000 plus £35,000 in tax-free cash. My good friend Hayley Sparks has all of the details.
It's brand new and it's the big one. Your chance to win £110,000 in prizes. Our biggest giveaway of the year so far. First, we want you to drive away in this. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could win this brand new 4-berth motorhome. The McClue Fusion comes fully loaded with all of the home comforts you'd expect. Built-in modern kitchen, bathroom, fridge freezer, and it's worth £75,000. But that's just the beginning, as we'll also give you a whopping £35,000 in tax-free cash to spend, save, or just to use to enjoy adventures in your new motorhome. This incredible prize package is exclusive to GB News. You won't see it anywhere else, so make sure you don't miss out.
For a chance to win a motorhome and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB23 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 23rd of October. We may call the winner live after all entry routes have closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
How exciting. Best of luck. Coming up, Will Kingston, what have you got for us? Unleash the Willie.
Well, Darren, the country's going broke and Andy Burnham wants to give away more of your money to third world countries that hate us. Just a little bit of light, easy viewing coming up after the break, ladies and gentlemen.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to the Saturday 5. I've just been told I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost by someone in gbnews.com/Yorsay. So thank you very much for that lovely message. I did do a little flush of bronzer whilst we were on the break, didn't I?
Not as much as me.
No, not as much as
It's one of the joys. You know what it's like being the only woman on this panel who never talks about makeup?
Yeah. Do you know why? Because you're always beautiful.
Yeah.
No one ever
You're not wearing makeup.
You look like a ghost.
It's good.
I look
You're
like
forgiven.
I've been dug up. My ancestors dug for coal. I look like I'm still down there finding it.
It is always one of the treats of my week trying to guess whether you'll turn up looking like Casper or like Donald Trump. That, I think, keeps the show fresh.
Yeah. Well, they like me to look like Donald, the Don. Right, OK, who's up next?
I'll take it away, Darren.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been reported this week that Andy Burnham wants to increase the foreign aid budget from 0.2% of GNI to 0.7% of GNI. That would represent a £13 billion increase every single year. Now, if you at home had maxed out your credit card and were still giving hefty sums to charity, I wouldn't say you were a kind and compassionate person. I would say you're an absolute idiot. And make no mistake, this country has maxed out its credit card. We just passed £3 trillion in debt, and with an unexpected deficit in July, that number is just getting worse and worse. We are now in the insane position of borrowing to give money away to third world countries. Third world countries that in many instances hate us, that in many instances, like Pakistan, refuse to play ball and take back their scumbag criminals out of our prisons. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought this was a Keir Starmer problem. It is not. It is a Labor problem. Labor is temperamentally incapable of putting the British people first. They are too economically illiterate to know that you can't keep borrowing money to then spend it on wasteful activities. They are too riddled with historic guilt. They are too committed to the globalist cause, and they are too disconnected from the people of this country who are doing it tough to be able to recognise that they don't look kind and compassionate through policies like this. They just look cruel to the British people.
Kai?
Look, I just want to come back on especially what you just said about putting British people first. Now, the idea that the Labour Party is too committed to the globalist agenda is, number one, nonsense, because this is obviously still a fraction of what we spend, but also because of the impacts that all of this has on us back home. Things like reducing HIV infections 30% in the last 20 years, almost stopping malaria, but also giving a billion more people access to drinking water and so on. That makes for a safer world, frankly, and a better world that I think isn't part of some globalist plot, but it's common sense if other countries do it as well. Now, the world has changed, and our budget is not what it used to be. Lots of our foreign aid budget actually goes to housing asylum seekers in this country, by the way, about 43% of the budget. But aside from that, the obvious reality is Burnham's not doing this. This is one article that says he's privately committed to this. No chance, no way is this happening. Right. It may happen he might set out a decade-long project to get it to that point if we can, but I think this is ridiculous. This whole debate is
very quickly, even if he doesn't do it, it's obviously been leaked by the Labor Party because it is something that they want to do. And if they get this hideous backlash, like several instances already, they will drop it. But it's obviously instinctively what they want to do.
There's 400 MPs.
But
you can say whatever you like.
To say that the Labour Party are not wedded to this global world is frankly laughable. They are all members of the Fabian Society. Just go and see what the Fabian Society want long term. Number one. Number two, this is all about choices. £13 billion. OK, think about that. Firstly, 10 billion is what the triple lock uplift costs. So we're more than happy, and there are lots of people in the Labour Party who want to get rid of it, to say to pensioners in this country, we're going to take away your triple lock because it's too expensive, but we'll give more than it costs to someone in Korea to do a K-pop band, which is one of the things that we've done. Malaria has not been eradicated in any way, shape or form. It isn't getting better, it isn't getting improved. And most of the medical advances do not come from this budget, they come from pharmaceutical companies.
And given the billions that have been handed over, right, in international aid to countries, especially African economies, that money, what impact has it actually had to actually bring people out of poverty? bad decisions continue to get made by bad despots in certain parts of Africa.
Yeah, but
we have people on the street in this country. Only this week I had a homeless veteran contact me. Why should we not prioritise those people when the country has a £3 trillion national debt?
Well, but partly, by the way, because there's still a significant number of people in Great Britain who want to see us keep or indeed increase our foreign aid budget. So I know that on this panel you differ on that, but some people believe that, yes, while we need to mainly focus on the poverty in this country, there's also extreme poverty, the likes of which we can hardly imagine in other countries, and that it is in our benefit to give some of our money to those countries. Now, I agree, it's not being used well.
I think I'm going to look at it a bit different, because honestly, Kai, I don't think they care about the sort of soft, fluffy stuff necessarily. I just want to say two stuff. Number one, wasn't it a Tory? I'm going to explain why. Wasn't it Cameron that pledged to do the 0.7% to sort of meet the UN level? So blaming the Labour Party is a bit of a stretch.
No, I'm blaming left-wing politicians.
Let me explain why I've said fluffy.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot to be said about foreign aid, because there's a lot of soft power that goes into that. Because in the vacuum that's there, you guys don't like China dominating. China will go into Africa, go into these countries. I think there is a lot to be said for maintaining this level of proximity to governments, so that this country has some sort of control over there rather than others. I don't think foreign aid was always just about this benevolent thing, was it?
Trey, give me one example of where the provision of aid has led to a change in policy of a foreign government in the UK's interest.
Well, we don't know. Soft power works very, very differently. It's always going to be about influence.
Trey,
it's going to be about influence.
Just ask you a question there, because if you consider, that the UK infamously funded the Ethiopian Spice Girls, right? And China is busy buying up rare metals to actually dominate the EV sector. How do the two things compare as far as soft power is concerned?
Yeah, but you're going to take some absurd examples, but there is a lot.
All right, can I give you another one?
Go for it.
So we've got this scumbag that's just come out of prison, the grooming gang guy,
in Pakistan,
who we can't deport to Pakistan because he decided to give up his citizenship there. Where's the soft power there? Because do you know how much we give Pakistan a year from our foreign aid budget? We give them 100 million quid. We give them over 100,000 visas. Where's the soft power to say, hang on a minute, you lot, take back this...
OK, let me take another tap, because you're a doctor. So imagine there was an Ebola...
I don't want to answer that one.
No, because everyone I answer, you're going to come to another example. But imagine, say, Ebola, right, as a doctor. Do you not think it's good that we have some sort of say in what happens so we can keep those sort of outbreaks where they are? So you think foreign aid doesn't go to that whatsoever?
Do you think our foreign aid keeps Ebola where it is?
Does it not help?
No.
You would say that as a doctor, that in no way, shape, form, anything we do or the States do has no...
The African countries where Ebola thrives are absolutely wedded to controlling it because it's in their interest.
But also,
you don't think that we should have a part in that?
Trey, it's all very simple. You guys are trying to make all these arguments that somehow link soft power by one link to another link to another link to helping the people of this country, whereas I can give you tangible examples of where £13 billion could directly help the people of this country.
By the way, it's not me saying this. The Conservatives themselves argued that.
That's why they're becoming irrelevant.
Well, half of them are in reform now, so it's going to continue, probably.
You don't want to answer me about the Pakistani grooming gang?
Because it's just one example. Where can I go with that?
Oh, well, there we are. Right, coming up on the Saturday 5.
There's a question about what is Englishness.
Englishness is, I think, the most problematic identity in the United Kingdom.
Oh dear, remember him? It's the first of our triggered tantrums. Find out what we've chosen after this.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Heading away for the final week of summer. Well, there's plenty of dry weather across the Mediterranean, but across parts of Portugal, as well as the Canaries, it's turning quite wet and windy through this weekend. A deep area of low pressure will bring quite strong winds to Madeira, as well as parts of Portugal, and later in the week into parts of Spain and France. Dry, though, as we head further east, particularly towards the Mediterranean, and it's quite hot as well. Temperatures approaching the mid-30s, and there is more sunshine to come in these areas through the week. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Turning chilly again tonight under clear skies. It leads us into a settled day tomorrow, though we are expecting some more rain and showers in the forecast through into next week. For the time being, though, it remains settled, all thanks to high pressure continuing to build out from the west. It does bring in a northerly flow of air, so feeling a bit cooler around any exposed coastal areas this evening. And overall tonight, across much of the UK, it is going to be feeling that bit chillier, another autumnal feel as we head towards Sunday morning. Under clear skies, temperatures could dip down to around the low single figures, though most towns and cities holding up between 9 to 13 degrees Celsius. Then to start the day on Sunday, a bit cloudier perhaps across parts of Scotland. This cloud will be thick enough to produce some very light outbreaks of rain across the far north. We could also see some mist and fog in places, similar across Northern Ireland as well. But if any mist and fog does develop, it should clear quite quickly through the course of Sunday morning. Elsewhere across England and Wales, it should be a dry and bright start to the day. Plenty of blue skies to go around. And overall, the picture on Sunday is another dry, settled day. Lots of sunshine, especially across much of England. Perhaps a few more in the way of cloudier skies across Scotland and Northern Ireland, but though should still remain mostly dry here. And we've still got a slight northerly breeze around some eastern coast, so feeling a little bit cooler here. But with more sunshine around, we'll see slightly higher temperatures, so highs reaching around 23 to 24 degrees Celsius in the south. Then on Monday, it's a very similar picture, another chilly start, mostly dry with some sunny, if not bright spells. But later on into the afternoon, we could eventually start to see some showers develop, certainly across the south. Some of these could be heavy and thundery. Dry through the first part of next week, but turning more showery later and also a little bit more humid.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB Newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB loyalty points are here. They're our way of saying thank you for spending time with GB News. Through commenting on your say, voting in You Decide polls and shaping the debate, you can earn GB loyalty points. Unlock rewards, reach milestones and climb leaderboards. Don't just watch our programmes, come and be part of them. Get started by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/loyalty points.
Excellent. And now, one of our comments I've just read made me laugh. Will Kingston, rock hard, unmovable, stood strong for Britain. And he says, sadly, we're not talking about an Australian city standing a bit stronger to attention, I think. The Australians aren't far behind Britain, are they?
This is the fascinating thing. We're living in the UK and looking back at Australia is all of the problems this country faces, Australia is facing, but on about a 5-year delay. The lack of cohesion as a result of multiculturalism, huge problems around economic debt and stagnation.
And also
mass migration is worse in Australia than it is in the UK.
And they are woke to the nth degree now.
They're woke to the nth degree. And interestingly as well, the response to all those problems is the same in Australia. So just like you've had the rise of a populist right-wing party in reform here, you have the rise of One Nation in Australia, which is slowly but surely meaning the end of the Liberal Party or the equivalent of Conservatives in Australia.
Well, all I can say to that, Will, is thank God they've got their Willie here, standing strong for both Britain and Australia.
I'm here for the long haul.
Oh, no.
Kai was delighted there.
Ooh, I'm getting flushes.
Like that since we were last discussing beavers. Ironic. OK, let's take a look at some of our triggered tantrums, and I'm going to go back to Kai for this. What have you got?
Yes, I've got one of the most recent episodes of Zach Polanski, as we all know him, the grifter-in-chief, the green plod-ess, Dave. He did an episode recently of his podcast with Afriwa Hirsch, the Guardian writer. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
I wanted to ask you about that, actually, because I've heard you saying that you're patriotic. I almost kind of had a visceral reaction when I heard you say that, because it kind of jarred slightly. I think because people who have the kind of progressive ideas that you have and the honesty and intellectual integrity to critique empire, to talk about the class divisions and the class system and the injustice of that, about how racially minoritized people are demonized. I'm just not used to hearing that packaged in somebody who considers themselves patriotic.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mask-off moment for the further left than me, I think, that they say, oh, I can't understand how you can like England.
Yeah, it is weird.
And they go on to talk about Englishness.
It jarred with me, and I had a visceral reaction to the word patriotic. Go somewhere else.
Touch grass.
No, look, she's entitled to opinion, but I find it weird. I will push back, as you know, as much as anyone else. But I'm absolutely patriotic. I would fight and die for this country. I don't get why both things can't be true. Of course you can question things that happen in empire, but it's still my country, and I will still fight and die for it. I don't understand this sometimes.
OK, John says, Darren, are Kai and Trey in pantomime this year? Well, after that.
Oh, no, we're not.
Renee, what have you got?
So I always find it really, really interesting that right now the left are acting like fascists. You know, they want to burn speech, burn books, ban books, and then when they're asked to define fascism, well, look what they do.
Do you think President Trump is a fascist?
Yes.
Why is President Trump a fascist?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
Well, what is fascism?
I'm also not sure, but I know that man isn't worth the time.
Do you think President Trump is a fascist?
Yes.
How is President Trump a fascist?
They're just as bad in Britain, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just as bad. I mean, Kai, how would you define a fascist?
A single leader holds absolute control with no public voice or vote. Extreme pride, no freedom, and blame of outsiders.
Yeah. Extreme pride, isn't that all that stuff that you like?
Well, we all know that you hate it.
I think so. It's just become a very easy way to shut down debate.
Yeah. Of course.
You're a racist, you're a fascist, you're far right.
You're
There's no thought that
transphobic.
goes into it. It's just, we want to silence you. So we're going to use this word.
Which is, in its very nature,
fascist. Yeah, that's exactly right. Very good point.
There's no thought goes into it, which is exactly why you would go on a Guardian podcast, for example, and say that the word patriot or patriotic is triggering for you. You know, you're free to express your absolutely immature to the extreme views in a country like Britain. But you turn your nose up at patriotism and celebrating the fact that you can do that.
Yeah, this is what I'm really intrigued by about the Greens, right? And you see it in some of the moves that some of the council leaders have made in London, where, for instance, they are much more focused on Gaza, frankly, than Haringey or Hackney. But they clearly, what comes clearly across is that it's not Britain's interests they're really after. In many different ways, there's many things above Britain that they consider to be more important.
Me think the lady doth protest too much, because actually I would say the same thing about the Labour Party, by the way.
Yeah, you would, but wouldn't you? But you're an elected politician.
Right, anyway, still to come on the Saturday 5, my friends.
Do you feel that the 2020 election was fair?
Nope. It wasn't since Obama came in.
No way.
It was rigged. They're just been rigged.
Since Obama?
Correct.
Oh, we'll unpack that one. Yeah, he had an LGBT top on. Right. It's been a particularly triggering week. We've got more tantrums on the way. But next, though, is Trey. Trey, what are you talking about?
I'm going to be talking about Meghan and Harry and why it's a good thing that they're coming home. Stay tuned for that.
afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
I remember it vividly, the first dogfight over Biggin Hill, over New Addington. And this particular morning, the war started. My mother had asked me to go and get her a pint of beer from she wouldn't have drunk or anything, but she liked to drink on a Sunday morning. So she said, "Oh, son," she said, "go down and get me a bottle of beer, will you?" I mean, all was quiet in the Western Front. So I said, "Yes, Mum." So I'm going down the road now. I hadn't gone quarter of a mile, and all of a sudden there's this confusion, all this noise and that, zooming and banging. I thought, what on earth's that? And I looked up, and there they were, dog fighting over New Addington.
GB News, the People's Channel. Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Joining us now is Head of Advocacy at Big Brother Watch, Jack Colson. Jack, interested to know your view on this. You know, why shouldn't I be able to wear my Meta glasses around?
Well, certainly there are times and places where Meta glasses might be of use, particularly for those with visual impairments. The technology really could be a breakthrough, but we see these as the tip of an iceberg. Meta's glasses have already been potentially linked to facial recognition technology, which really would be a stalker's charter. And we are operating in an environment where perpetrators of harassment feel safe to use this technology when really it's the public who ought to feel safe. So the government ultimately are going to have to explore restrictions on this kind of technology, and we're seeing civil society push back.
GB News, the People's Channel.
I have a real treat for you, because I have found women. Yes, and these women are badly behaved in Benidorm, and they've been here for... How long have you been here?
Since Tuesday. Yeah, just a week this time. Normally we do 2 weeks, but just a week this time.
And whereabouts in the UK are you from?
From Surrey.
Surrey. Manchester. Salford.
Doncaster.
Quite the mix, I would say. Are you getting ready to go into the Strip?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, why not? It's iconic.
We do
Love
culture
Benidorm.
first and then the Strip. That's the right way round, right?
If you say so. Will you be out on the Strip?
Most definitely, yet again.
And what's so attractive about it?
The Strip or the culture?
The Strip.
What am I allowed to say on TV?
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back to the Saturday Five. Thank you so much for all of your rude and inconsiderate messages.
You are not.
GBNews.com/your say. PW says, Kai, can't you agree that some of us on the right are correct?
Doesn't it say sometimes? No.
No, it says some of us.
We find common ground sometimes. And I think some of you, in the back of your minds, listen to me speak and think, he's on to something.
I can assure you I don't.
He's on to
when
something.
You're speaking at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I wish he'd get on with it. Aaron says, don't look at Mr. Polanski in the eyes, dear ladies watching tonight. You'll be bursting out of your blouse. That's, of course, because Zach Polanski can expand the size of a woman's.
And also, I agree with this one. Northern Lass says, despite his left-leaning views, which is a shame, Kai is very likeable. He is. He is very likeable.
Oh,
that's nice.
Well, of course, somebody else has written in to say that the sweat patches apparently that I have on my shirt,
by the way,
are off-putting. So I'm going to try and sit in a bit of a more particularly conservative fashion.
Whoever wrote that, by the way, you've really got to him. You need to know.
Yeah. And also, we have to sit next to him, so, you know, spare a thought for us.
I'm closest to him. He smells delightful.
Oh, that's good. Don't do that.
OK. That's put me off my mono now.
Right, I'm going to move swiftly on after that.
I'm a bit lightheaded.
Right. Trey, you're going to talk about something a little bit more serious now. Oh, well, actually, you're not. Anyway, take it away, Trey.
No, I am going to talk about something very serious. So, Harry and Meghan are coming home, and I think that's good news. Not because everything that's happened should suddenly be forgotten. Of course, there was anger, there are interviews, there's books, and frankly, enough drama to fill several seasons of The Crown. But families can, and they do, reconcile. Surely that's a good thing, because somewhere underneath all of those headlines, there's a father, King Charles, and there are 2 grandkids who've spent their young lives thousands of miles away, not knowing their grandfather, not knowing their cousins, and most importantly, not knowing Britain. And yes, of course, I'm sure there are certain corners of the anti-DEI, anti-woke brigade who will be absolutely livid at the prospect of Meghan returning to Britain. I suspect the knives are being sharpened as we speak, but perhaps that's precisely the problem. This is a family, guys, not another front in the culture wars. And perhaps, with time, Harry and Meghan could even play a part in shaping the future of the monarchy, creating maybe a younger, more diverse, more outward-looking monarchy for the next generation. Reconciliation doesn't mean pretending that the past never happened. It means deciding that the future matters more. So put down those pitchforks, Britain, because like it or not, they're coming home.
Trey, this family put themselves at the front of the culture wars when Meghan, in live television with the most popular interviewer in the world, said that there was a member of the royal family that was concerned about having a mixed-race grandson or a mixed-race child in the family. They put themselves in the culture wars when they've done this liberal progressive slop on Spotify and on Netflix. They continuously put themselves front and centre of the culture wars.
Well, no, if they're sharing what was their truth and what... let me not use that language.
I haven't heard that phrase since 2015.
Wait. Let me come back.
I cannot believe you got onto this.
No, wait. I think that phrase had a visceral effect on you guys, so let me come back.
No, I
think they just shared what happened for them.
Firstly,
and we can't say it didn't happen.
Right, the word truth is a standalone word.
Thank you.
It's either the truth or it isn't.
How do we know it wasn't the truth?
Don't own the truth, OK? So, secondly, families often have rifts. It's not for us to tell them to mend their rifts. I have not spoken to my father for many a decade, nor will I ever, because he was not a father to me, OK? I have a fantastic mother. She did the job. And there will be no reconciliation because nobody else knows what went on, but I do, OK? Now, I don't care what they do. Let them come back. Let them live their lives. Let them be a happy family. Let them reconcile. Let them not. I don't care. They made their decision. They've got to live by it. We don't have to pay for them to do it. So come back, live in your little house in the Cotswolds, pay for your own life, and I don't want to know.
Well, I'm not arguing that we necessarily pay for them or pay for their security detail, although I do think that's something that should be looked at because, like it or not, they are still, he's fifth in line, I believe it is, to the throne, so there might be an argument. That's not what I'm saying. I think there are lots of people who just rather they never, ever came back, and I think that's the wrong attitude. Number one, why can't families reconcile? And who knows what contribution they could be in the future? We just don't know.
Kai,
we don't know, though, but it's true, we don't.
But we'll never know.
But we should care.
We'll never know. They threw their family under the bus.
Yeah.
They've shunned all the things that come with a life of duty. And yes, I agree, we want a younger, slimmer royal family. There's plenty of good members of the royal family who do that job, right? If we want it, Prince William can sort it, King Charles, whoever. We have some amazing working royals, but it's beyond the pale for them ever to come back, frankly. I'm the same as Renee, though. I just don't care.
It's not for you to decide, though, is it?
Yeah, but Trey, you just sat here just now and said, let them reconcile. That's not for you to bloody...
Clearly, the king himself wanted them to come back.
Sorry, you misunderstand.
I can't for the life of me understand why the monarchy has to be more diverse, has to be younger, has to be all of these watchwords of the moment, and why they have to talk about their damn truth. The monarchs throughout history have not done that. And actually, for 1,000 years, Trey, 1,000 years, the monarchy has been in rude health and done phenomenally successful.
What? Tell it to the ones that lost their heads. That's not true.
One monarch lost his head.
One.
Do you know who it was?
Charles.
Right.
King Charles
Exactly.
I.
Oh, you don't realise how much I know about history. But look, listen, guys, you do have to have a modern, progressive monarchy. Otherwise, we're all going to get out of touch. How many people generally believe in a monarchy like me? Most people probably don't.
I'd like to read a comment. Can I just read this comment? It's from Keith Hannant, and it says, "You seem to have forgotten, Trey, that there is another granddad that has never met his grandchildren over in the States. She has fallen out with almost every member of her family apart from her mother."
Why does Meghan always get singled out all the time?
Oh, is that not true, what I just said?
Hang on, let's
Is it
let
true?
Neil get in.
I don't know the ins and outs of their family arrangements, but she might be like you. Maybe she doesn't want to speak to him. Who knows?
What we don't know. What we've heard from Trey is the leftist project, which is fundamentally it despises our history and our values.
But the left doesn't like the monarchy.
They are looking to erase our history because of the fact that we were evil in the past, and therefore everything that is traditional and good about this country needs to be rewritten in some sort of universalist, progressive.
It's a bit jarring.
Yes.
It's a bit jarring what you just said.
Well,
but wait, the left doesn't like the monarchy.
OK, we're going to have to leave it there. We'll come back to Trey being wrong about absolutely everything in just a moment.
Just don't
I'll
want to
see
expand.
you after this very short break.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Turning chilly again tonight under clear skies. It leads us into a settled day tomorrow, though we are expecting some more rain and showers in the forecast through into next week. For the time being, though, it remains settled, all thanks to high pressure continuing to build out from the west. It does bring in a northerly flow of air, so feeling a bit cooler around any exposed coastal areas this evening. And overall tonight, across much of the UK, it is going to be feeling that bit chillier, another autumnal feel as we head towards Sunday morning. Under clear skies, temperatures could dip down to around the low single figures, though most towns and cities holding up between 9 to 13 degrees Celsius. Then to start the day on Sunday, a bit cloudier perhaps across parts of Scotland. This cloud will be thick enough to produce some very light outbreaks of rain across the far north. We could also see some mist and fog in places, similar across Northern Ireland as well. But if any mist and fog does develop, it should clear quite quickly through the course of Sunday morning. Elsewhere across England and Wales, it should be a dry and bright start to the day. Plenty of blue skies to go around. And overall, the picture on Sunday is another dry, settled day. Lots of sunshine, especially across much of England. Perhaps a few more in the way of cloudier skies across Scotland and Northern Ireland, but though should still remain mostly dry here. And we've still got a slight northerly breeze around some eastern coast, so feeling a little bit cooler here. But with more sunshine around, we'll see slightly higher temperatures, so highs reaching around 23 to 24 degrees Celsius in the south. Then on Monday, it's a very similar picture, another chilly start, mostly dry with some sunny, if not bright spells. But later on into the afternoon, we could eventually start to see some showers develop, certainly across the south. Some of these could be heavy and thundery. Dry through the first part of next week, but turning more showery later and also a little bit more humid.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's brand new and it's the big one. Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could win this brand new 4-berth motorhome. But that's just the beginning, as we'll also give you a whopping £35,000 in tax-free cash to spend, save, or just to use to enjoy adventures in your new motorhome.
For a chance to win, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB23 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 23rd of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Portillo. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's Saturday night, and this is the Saturday 5, the UK's biggest Saturday night telly show. I'm Darren Grimes, along with Will Kingston, Dr. Renee, Trey Lowe, and Kai Wilshaw. Tonight on the show,
the Saturday Scrap's coming up. Should politicians be paid more?
So, for the time being, it's impossible for me to take my family back to the UK safely.
The Ginger and the Whinger return to the UK with their towels between their legs.
And is Britain suffering a brain drain? Record numbers of young Brits are heading abroad. Why?
And don't forget to get in touch. We want to hear your views.
I could feel my brain drain watching that. What is exactly going on there?
Well, I don't know, but I assumed it was you on a night out. It's 7 p.m, and this is the Saturday 5. Yes, indeedy, it's Saturday night, and you're with the Saturday 5. I'm Darren Grimes, and I can promise that you're in for a very lively hour.
Can you just present the rest of this show, Darren, in song?
Yeah. Go on.
Saturday 5, the opera. the musical.
I'm looking forward to revealing how this battered sausage, how that got me cancelled in Durham this week, or rather a chippy got them cancelled. And of course, my friends, we want your views as well, not on my battered sausage, but we want to know what you think about Trey being wrong about absolutely everything. So please do keep them coming in thick and fast. You already have, actually. And we'll crack on, though, before we get to some of those comments, on tonight's main event. It is, of course, Dr. Renee.
So, I was right. The government has published an official guide on how not to rape women. They know, they knew, they have always known. These men are a danger to our women. They're a brilliant solution for importing large numbers of young men from cultures where women's rights are, let's say, optional, where consent is a Western fairy tale and females are treated as property. A taxpayer-funded leaflet that says, hey, maybe don't force yourself on women once you're here. This is the policy equivalent of shipping in people who have never seen a traffic light and handing them a colourful sticker that reads, red means stop. A 20-year-old bloke raised to believe that basic human decency is optional, and we're explaining it like he's just joined the Scouts and he can earn his next badge by being good. I'm sure the next modules will be how not to throw acid, how knives are for cutting fruit, not people. But don't worry, diversity is our strength. Just keep the leaflet handy in case. And stop pretending for 1 second longer that any of this was unpredictable. I was right. The government knows our women are paying the price.
Indeed. I mean, to be honest with you, Renee, I have been struck by the number of comments I've seen. Lisa, who has been on this show...
Lisa McKenzie.
Dr. Lisa McKenzie, thank you so much for telling me her name. I did forget that. Dr. Lisa, of course, she had commented online, and I thought I agreed with this, actually. She said, I can't physically handle reading another story about a migrant attack on a woman. And there was one story that really has stuck with me this week, and by the way, I've read many. Yeah, the 2 Afghans, and the boyfriend being held down with a knife whilst the girlfriend was unspeakable things happening. And I'm sorry to anyone that's distressed by that, because it is indeed a distressing story. But Lisa had said, I can't read it. And I thought, I didn't say this to her, but I would if she were here right now. Lisa, we need to hear these stories. We need to talk about these stories. We need to see these stories, because actually we need the full picture of what's happening in Britain and what has happened under 2 political parties that we voted for time and again, and the complete betrayal, actually, by those 2 political parties that call me a misogynist while they allow this to happen to women.
Yep, and it is happening across Europe. Make no mistake, countries that have high levels of migration like this, it is happening there. And to think for a second that if we'd have handed those 2 Afghans that carried out that rape at knife point the leaflet, they wouldn't have done it.
Well, there's been some very dark gallows humour on social media in the last week in response to some of these atrocities committed by illegal migrants, along the lines of, well, these men must not have received their pamphlets yet. And that is going to the absurdity of a situation, which is effectively men from incompatible cultures can be HR'd out of their views. They can read a pamphlet and suddenly they'll believe in the rights of women and all of the liberal progressive stuff that you believe in a Western liberal democracy. And it just doesn't work that way.
Kai, why do we not just send this leaflet that you've printed at vast taxpayer cost to the Taliban in Afghanistan? Do you think after reading it they'd say, oh my goodness, this woman's rights thing sounds like a really good idea, actually?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, actually, because one of the reasons I think this is defensible, right, is that, as you say, as you rightly point out, the Taliban in particular is a prime example of a government in power in a country that has done vast damage to women's rights, to education, to human rights more generally in that country. And many people who come to this country from Afghanistan are fleeing exactly that. They're fleeing that repression, perhaps fleeing that culture. But of course, you can't really distinguish very easily of Afghans who come over on small boats, some of whom have a genuine asylum claim that I hope means they settle in this country. You can't really tell the difference between that person and a person who holds those same views as the leadership of the Taliban.
This is a really critical point, and I just want to pick up on this because I think this is the difference between where the left and the right sits on this issue. We, of course, aren't saying that all Afghans are exactly the same. I'm sure some of them have perfectly reasonable attitudes. But where the left sits, they say, well, because we can't delineate between the good ones and the bad ones, we should let everyone in. Because where the right says is because we can't delineate, we should not let them in. And obviously, the second instance is the more appropriate one to keep people safe.
I understand. I knew we would talk about this because I know, Renee, you've said before, you know what, if it even causes one more rape in this country, I don't want them, right? But the fact is, and this is the second point I was going to make, they're here, right? And what I see in this leaflet is this. Rightly, the British people are very concerned about the violence that we see against women and girls. And the government should pull out all the stops. And in that circumstance of a government doing everything in its power to try and stop this, then even if there's a risk, no matter how small, they should be trying to do anything they can, like putting out material like this. So if this stops even one rape, then I think that's a good thing. And not putting aside the fact that obviously, frankly, this has probably been in the civil service machinery for many, many months or years. So I don't even know where it's come from. We don't know that.
It's come from a Labour government. You've been in for more than 2 years now.
Well, possibly. But we don't know whether it's been sent to people for years and years, really,
I know the civil service moves slowly, but 2 years would be taking the business.
Well, you'd be surprised, Darren.
I mean, the other answer, of course, Kai, rather than actually giving leaflets and hoping it might stop one rape, is to just deport them.
Yes, but we're not in that world, Dr. Renee. And similarly to Labour, Reform, if they come into power, or even indeed Restore, will find it incredibly difficult to deport people to certain countries. That is just the reality of the matter. And I'm looking forward, actually, to if Reform do get in power, to see them collide with the hard reality of governing.
Kai, that's fine, then just detain them indefinitely. Until they decide to leave of their own volition, detain them indefinitely.
Well, in fact, obviously, as you know, and as I've said many times, detention centres are being scaled up under this Labour government.
Stop.
You don't want to pay for foreign aid. It's going to cost a fortune.
There are centres which are being scaled up, but the people can leave those centres and roam through communities. They are therefore, by definition, not under detention.
But there are also detention centres being scaled up. You're just misunderstanding what I'm talking about. Yes, there are.
No, it's illegal. Under the convention, for these migrants, they cannot be detained. You are wrong.
Renee, do you know what struck me? There are whispers, there are hints that they are going to bring back a Rwanda-style scheme, right? So could it be that the likes of Kai and all the rest of it who say, you know, Reform haven't got a clue and all blah, 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 attempting to bring back a scheme like this, it's not going to work for the very reason that you've just mentioned, that under the convention, it wouldn't be lawful?
Well, I think Rishi Sunak did get it to the point where he thought it was lawful, although I suspect that had he really have believed that, he would not have resigned. So we shall see. But with all of these different, the ECHR, the Migrant Convention and everything else, they're not going to be able to do it. So, but it's so interesting that now, having wasted the money that was spent on it and scrapping it, they're now talking about bringing it back. And Reform is saying that they'll send foreign prisoners to El Salvador, and the left are clutching their pearls and saying it's brutal, it's inhumane. I don't care.
Yeah. Can I just come back on one thing? Those two detention camps that I've talked about on this show before, and you keep trying to make out that I'm talking about the military barracks, which I'm not. To be clear, these are Campsfield House in Oxfordshire, Haslar in Hampshire, and they are not free to leave, but because they're detention centres aimed to get then deporting people. So just to make that very clear, I'm not wrong, which you said earlier.
But yes, you are wrong.
No, I'm not wrong, Renee.
You are
Sorry,
wrong.
you just don't have the facts. Sorry.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. Because that is not for the migrants when they put their foot on this shore.
I understand that.
This is for when they've been assessed and their asylum claim has been rejected, Kai. And that's a very, very small number. It's not for the people that are coming across in boats. They cannot be detained.
But that's exactly what we were talking about, because we were talking about how easy it is. Yes, because the conversation we were having was about deporting people to countries.
The vast majority of illegal migrants in this country are not detained. That is the fundamental problem. Stop being pedantic.
Right, Trey, I have to bring you in here.
Go for it.
I'm contractually obliged. But Trey, the fact is, right, as Renee said there, this reheated Rwanda scheme, they've popped in the microwave. They're just copying Reform UK, aren't they?
Well, to a certain extent, but like what Kai said, I think Reform would be in the same boat. And I always ask you guys each week, what would you do about it?
Yes.
Like, literally, what can you do about it? I mean, do you want to put people... do you want to put people in internment camps? I mean...
Detention centres, yes.
But do you know what I mean? So Afghans who've done nothing, stick them all in internment camps.
Yes.
Where do you draw the line?
Anyone who comes to this country illegally.
All just an internment... And then what?
Then they stay there until they choose to leave the country.
And you don't want to do the 0.7%, let alone paying for that. It's going to cost much more than a foreign aid that you didn't want to have.
No. It's much cheaper. It's much cheaper than just bringing more people in every week. Because if you detain them, Trey, and I want you to listen very carefully so we don't keep having the same conversation every week. If you detain people, they therefore have no incentive to come to the country because they know they won't be allowed into the country.
Okay, let me ask you guys...
No, stop, because this is very important and you don't seem to get it.
Maybe, you might be right, but that may not be true. It's not true.
Don't interrupt me.
Not true.
Don't interrupt me.
Not true.
If you detain people, there is no incentive to stay in the country, so the boats stop. So therefore, that is cheaper and it is safer for communities.
No, the boats might still come and they'll do everything they can to avoid detection. Maybe they'll try a different tactic and then just try and be in the country completely illegal. Why would they stop? If people are desperate enough to make...
That's called a coast guard.
They're not going to be able to stop anything. Look, listen, at the end of the day, everything that you've just said, Kai, is going to happen. Reform are going to get in and they're probably not going to do anything about it because it's not as simple as you make it seem. I would love to see them try, 100%. I've said it 100 times. I'd love to see them try.
Well, yeah. Funnily enough, me too.
The other thing that I want to say about this particular topic in the pamphlet that I've heard across the news this week from the left is that they've tried to deflect this onto, once again, our boys. And they've tried to say, I think I heard Jess Phillips saying it, it's just misogyny. And we actually should be using these kind of things in schools. In fact, we are in PHSE. And, you know, this will be a good leaflet for the toxic boys to read. Our boys are not toxic.
I agree.
Being a man is not toxic. This is a cultural thing. These people are coming from a culture where they do things differently to us.
Well, that's a good point, isn't it? Because, Trey, did you grow up and feel the need to read a leaflet to tell you not to do
I definitely did grow up and do feel the need that men should be educated. I do agree with that. Look, the leaflet is unfortunate. I think it's just silly, right? We can all agree with that. It's a bit silly, right? But I think there has been a need for men to be educated when it comes to women, when it comes to consent, when it comes to women's autonomy over their bodies. There actually is a case for men to learn. So there are a lot of men who think they've got this. No, it's not about parenting. A lot of people are not actually more informed by their parents than from their peer groups. There are a lot of boys out there who do think they've got access to a woman's body. It's true. Men do need to be taught from a young age.
On this, it's a male problem, not a cultural problem.
It's a male issue.
Being male is an immutable characteristic. You can't change that you are male.
Oh, you sure?
But interesting, and this is really important. Interesting. Can you imagine the left taking another immutable characteristic and saying it is that whole category's problem?
Yeah.
So there are disproportionate levels of crime amongst the black community, for example. Can you imagine if they said, well, this isn't a problem of, this is a problem for black people, not a problem of, a particular part of that particular community. It is interesting how they are willing to blame all men, but then they don't blame other categories, which you can't change.
That's a very silly example, but look...
No, it's not. It's a very logical example.
Crime amongst black populations. I mean, come on. It's always the same nonsense.
What have I said that's not true?
Give me an example.
No, listen to me very carefully. There is a disproportionate rate of crime amongst particular ethnic groups.
OK, but you said black people. Give me an example of that.
OK.
What do you mean?
OK, knife crime in London.
OK, great. So what about knife crime in Glasgow? Do you actually put that down to some sort of demographic? Yeah, but again, what about knife crime in Glasgow? Do you put that down to a certain demographic? The fact they are working class and white?
Is
that an issue there?
Trey, you're making my point.
Come on. No.
You're making a point.
I'm not making your point.
We don't say in this instance it is a black problem. Yes. We say there are other issues, just like we don't say, or shouldn't say, it's a male problem. That's the point I'm making.
But that's a silly argument because you're saying, oh, why don't we call rape a woman problem for obvious reasons that you've just pointed out? These things are not different, the category distinctions you're making.
Well, they did try to stop us.
Can I just make one final point?
Predominantly Asian and raping our children, didn't they?
Can I just make one point about the culture thing?
There, because you did try
say that again?
That the Labour Party tried to stop us all saying by condemning women and calling them racist, bigoted and alarmist when they tried to raise the alarm bell on the grooming gangs.
The Labour Party is the one that has launched the inquiry that specifically looks at what impact the participants' race had in it. Now, yes, what some Labour politicians may have said in the past when they didn't really fully understand the scale of this issue and the strength of feeling, I can't speak to that. I'm not here to defend those individuals. I think that's wrong, OK? But now they're taking action, and I think that's a good thing.
They were made to take action.
Yeah,
you can't give them any credit, can you?
Not for that, no.
Okie dokie. Now, coming up, my friends, we have more of Kai. Kai, what do you have for us?
Well, we've been talking about what we think reform's going to do. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's bottling it.
Right. So you have to...
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From court mornings
to warm family brunches,
from football to tennis in the car,
in the kitchen.
GB News Breakfast is there with the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
We're here again to start your day just right. GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to the Saturday Five. Thank you so much for your company. Earlier in the show, one viewer suggested that Kai and Trey take part in a pantomime. But Gerald has written in, and Gerald says, well, if they were in a pantomime, they would both be the back end of the same horse.
Lovely. Well, I want to say I had the honour of participating at the 5th anniversary party for GB News, and there were some pantomime boos. There was lots of booing.
For you?
For you?
Yes,
for me.
I watched that show. I don't think they were pantomime boos. I think they were very sincere boos.
Well, you were there in the breaks, Will, so I wouldn't expect you to know.
Well. Anyway, thank you so much for getting involved online. The views are coming in thick and fast. And Lynn says, even though Kai's a lefty, I like him. He always argues with good grace. He's never rude or insulting like a lot of the lefties you have on GB News. I disagree with 99% of his views, but at least he is polite and has a sense of humour.
Well, I disagree with 99% of my views too, so that gives us something in common.
Yeah, see, well, I think you've just outed yourself there. But another comment, Andy says, Kai is lying out of his... I won't finish that sentence, my friends.
I just demonstrated.
I'd be taken off air. But speaking of Kai lying out of his back end, I think right now he's about to do just that, isn't he? Kai.
Oh, yes.
What have you got for us?
Well, our reform bottling it. Well, I've been telling my friends on the left for a very long time not to underestimate reform. You know, they're an electoral force, unlike Brexit Party and UKIP were in the past. They're expanding their voter base. They're professionalising. They've got these bright young things running the party. Yet this week, as Nigel Farage finally takes a holiday, his feet are up on the sun lounger, he's got his pina colada in hand, the Sun's Harry Cole has reported that the infighting between members of Reform has broken out into the open. Now, Harry Cole himself, he's no left-winger, trust me, but he's reporting some mad claims of bugging offices, one-upmanship, temper tantrums, and says this, and I do agree, it's hard enough to fight Burnham with a divided right. It's a fool's errand to do so with a divided party. So, what else has the political machine of the right wing of British politics been getting up to these days and getting ready to govern a G7 country? Well, let's look at the ledger, shall we? Captain Zia Useless says on Twitter that we should jail Vodafone 3 executives and calling war heroes traitors, of course. 7% of the councillors over 100% are off. One for voting for a Lib Dem as a council leader. One said, oh, I've got no training. And another, of course, said that Keir Starmer should be swinging from a lamppost. Harry Cole also says that Suella Braverman's considering resigning. Well, what a blow that will be. Convicted money launderer Posh George is still knocking about. They've announced a plan for small boats with so many holes in it you could look at an eclipse through it. And who could forget the wonderful by-election that we've just had, launching to distract from a £5 million grift that keeps on giving and ending up spending the summer arguing with a bin. So, how are we doing? Reform? Are they ready? Are they bottling it?
Well, they're in your head, aren't they?
They certainly are.
Definitely are.
And it's funny that, isn't it? Because I think if Labour or any on the left were not worried about them, they'd stop talking about them.
But there's a lot of talk about it, isn't there, Dr. Renee?
Yeah, by you.
Yeah, but come on, Darren, don't you agree that there's something interesting happening right now? Where you look at the polling, and it's essentially, you say the uni party's finished, but it's essentially the uni party plus reform.
Do you know, I think people like you actually have an obsession with Zia Yusuf because actually he is saying things that, dare I say, many GB News viewers watching will totally agree with. Hunting those who aid and abet illegal migration and facilitate the people coming here illegally, who do go on to commit all of the horrible things that Renee has just documented in the last segment, that actually people want someone like that who is willing to say the things that need to be done. Labour don't, because they don't believe in it. They don't want to stop it.
So I think Kai has a point. I think Reform are going through their awkward teenage phase. It's easy to forget. They are a start-up organisation, right? And in any startup, you are going to have these sorts of challenges. You're going to have periods where you lose momentum. I think that's very normal. I think Zia Yusuf fulfils a very important function within Reform. Basically, he is shoring up the right flank of Reform, protecting them against defections to Restore. I think his hatred for the Conservatives is sincere. And you know what? I admire that, because the whole purpose of Reform in many ways was an anti-Conservative project. And so I think that is entirely reasonable for him to say, you know what, we have been set up in a way that we need to take opposition to the Conservative Party. I think he's been very challenged by the fact that several prominent Conservatives have joined the party. I think he may think that that is something of a problem. But, if we look at kind of what he's been saying on Twitter, and I think we do have a couple of tweets that have been teed up for us to look at, I think that this is... What he does is he enables Nigel to try and appeal to a more mainstream audience, and then he takes care of that more right-wing flank, which to me is smart politics.
And can I be honest? Honestly, when
Before
I see...
you go on, let's have a look at that tweet from Zia. And for everyone who is on radio, the Daily Mail is campaigning... This is a Zia Yusuf tweet. The Daily Mail is campaigning hard for a pact between Reform and the Tories, so the Tories can then suffocate us. They will keep coming for me with this nonsense, quoting the same anonymous source because they think I will die before I let that happen. They're correct.
Yeah, and of course it's not in his interest, or anybody from Reform, to admit that there are difficulties. Political parties always have difficulties. All I'm saying, right, is that, yes, you're right, they had this moment when they felt invincible, right? And they were saying, and it could be believed, including by me, that they would replace the Conservatives. You would not say that today.
Would you not?
No.
I mean, honestly, I think that the reason that the Conservatives didn't stand in the Clacton by-election was not because they thought it was a farce and they shouldn't partake. It was because they didn't think they could even keep their deposit. And I have heard that from several people.
They lost it in Makerfield, didn't they?
Yeah. So I think, it actually suits even the Conservatives to continue this diatribe that you've just spewed out. And because it just keeps people believing it. And if you say things to people enough, some of them will defect because of it. But you know what? Will is right. They will get through whatever this is. People are not going to buy the uni party. They've made that clear.
Well, Trey, before I come back to you, Kai, I just want to bring Trey in, because on what Renee says, a lot of the audience, a lot of the Reform members, a lot of people out there who are sympathetic to Reform will look at what's been said about Zia Yusuf and others, and they will say that actually this is the old cabal clubbing together again to try and keep out genuine change, to try and keep things the same as they are, to protect the establishment of this country. What say you?
No, I think they're doing the same thing Reform's doing, isn't it? They're trying to throw as much dirt as possible at their political opponent. It was all's fair in love and war. But I think it's interesting. I think Zia Yusuf would actually be better off with Rupert Lowe in Restore. His politics, actually, it sounds weird, and the only reason why he probably wouldn't be successful there is one reason. I think we can all guess they don't really like him much, and we can all guess why that is. I think, really and truly, Reform's got a real big problem. Wait, let me finish.
He did report
and
the reason,
police. The reason why I think the reason why they are bottling is because Kemi's actually doing really, really well. Nobody was expecting that. It's certainly not the defectors. You've now got Andy Burnham there, which, you know, obviously has overturned the polls. And whether you like it or not, Rupert Lowe is actually doing very well. So, he put out the olive branch, nobody wanted to take it, and the people are defecting.
On that point.
So I do think they're kind of bottling. It feels a bit like Arsenal when people thought they weren't going to win the league.
Well, I thought you were going to say something else there, to be honest. Feels a bit like something else. But Kemi Badenoch, her personal polling rating is doing well, I accept that. But Claire Coutinho, the Shadow Energy Secretary, was on the media round this week, right? And she was saying, well, we will do everything necessary to ensure that we have a robust energy mix in this country. Well, she was the one saying 2 minutes ago, we will do absolutely everything to make sure that net zero is rolled out in the country. You can't trust the Tories. But that's what the British people
OK, let me just say something.
So Kemi is doing very well in her personal public polling, but she is not doing well electorally.
But wait, Generally, I just want to ask this question.
A broken brand that betrayed the
OK, let me just say something. If you can't trust the Tories, why did Reform let them in? There was an open door onto May, was there not?
They let two.
No, but there was an open door. If more defected, they would have joined.
Look,
we were told up onto May elections there was an open door.
If they shared our values.
So,
I think that's been a bit of an own goal, though.
And I think their biggest own goal actually was Zahawi. You know, that was terrible.
All of it's an own goal. It's Tory 2.0.
The others of them, people liked Suella, they liked Jenrick for their policies. Mad Max says, which is interesting, Labour and Tories just talk about reform all of the time. I thought they were supposed to be intelligent. I'm not seeing it. These parties know that Reform are our next government and they will try anything to try and trash.
But why would they not, though? Reform does the same thing. I mean, it's politics, is it not? It'd be crazy for them not to. That's what they do. I think it's an indictment of all of politics. It's all become very negative. Where are your ideas? That's what I want to hear. Not always trashing the opponent. People are sick of it. Reform feel the same. It's just trash, 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 trash. What are the ideas? Well, we're going to take migrants.
Stop.
Wait. We're going to take migrants, put them on a warship, take them to France. France can be, thanks very much, take them.
I'm not going to take lectures from a member of the Liberal Democrats.
At least us Lib Demers are very steadfast in what we do.
Trey, stop. You just said the only thing they do is trash, 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 and then you pointed to a policy platform that they just articulated.
An unworkable one.
Housing, that's fine. It's still an idea. You may think it's unworkable, but it's still an idea. They've got a housing policy under TICE that's coming out soon. They've released several other economic policies. To say that they're just trashing other parties is wrong.
And this is one of the points that Harry Cole makes and that I agree with, because I know I've met some of the policy people at Reform. I've seen some of Richard Tice's speeches, and I think they've done a good job of professionalising and trying to move past migration and not just focus on that as a single issue, because that won't get them a general election win. But you look at this long list of things, own goals, unforced errors, and you have to conclude if they continue on this path, they could well end up like the UKIP and Brexit Party mistakes of the past.
But the thing is, Kai, they're making no more unforced errors than every single other political party. Like, the reality is, if you look at the amount of unforced errors Labor has made, they had to get rid of a Prime Minister 2 years into a 5-year government. Every political party makes mistakes. They're not
Burnham's
perfect.
already been U-turning left, right and centre.
Oh, please. That is a load of old rubbish.
It really is.
There. OK, still to come tonight.
So, for the time being, it's impossible for me to take my family back to the UK safely.
Yes, the Ginger Whinger and the Duchess returned to the United Kingdom with their, well-polished tails between their legs. Why? Find out after this.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Heading away for the final week of summer. Well, there's plenty of dry weather across the Mediterranean, but across parts of Portugal, as well as the Canaries, it's turning quite wet and windy through this weekend. A deep area of low pressure will bring quite strong winds to Madeira, as well as parts of Portugal, and later in the week into parts of Spain and France. Dry, though, as we head further east, particularly towards the Mediterranean, and it's quite hot as well. Temperatures approaching the mid-30s, and there is more sunshine to come in these areas through the week. Bye-bye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office.
Turning chilly again tonight under clear skies. It leads us into a settled day tomorrow, though we are expecting some more rain and showers in the forecast through into next week. For the time being, though, it remains settled, all thanks to high pressure continuing to build out from the west. It does bring in a northerly flow of air, so feeling a bit cooler around any exposed coastal areas this evening. And overall tonight, across much of the UK, it is going to be feeling that bit chillier, another autumnal feel as we head towards Sunday morning. Under clear skies, temperatures could dip down to around the low single figures, though most towns and cities holding up between 9 to 13 degrees Celsius. Then to start the day on Sunday, a bit cloudier perhaps across parts of Scotland. This cloud will be thick enough to produce some very light outbreaks of rain across the far north. We could also see some mist and fog in places, similar across Northern Ireland as well. But if any mist and fog does develop, it should clear quite quickly through the course of Sunday morning. Elsewhere across England and Wales, it should be a dry and bright start to the day. Plenty of blue skies to go around. And overall, the picture on Sunday is another dry, settled day. Lots of sunshine, especially across much of England. Perhaps a few more in the way of cloudier skies across Scotland and Northern Ireland, but though should still remain mostly dry here. And we've still got a slight northerly breeze around some eastern coast, so feeling a little bit cooler here. But with more sunshine around, we'll see slightly higher temperatures, so highs reaching around 23 to 24 degrees Celsius in the south. Then on Monday, it's a very similar picture, another chilly start, mostly dry with some sunny, if not bright spells. But later on into the afternoon, we could eventually start to see some showers develop, certainly across the south. Some of these could be heavy and thundery. Dry through the first part of next week, but turning more showery later and also a little bit more humid.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Portillo. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome back to the Saturday 5. Thank you so much for all of your messages so far. Some of them too naughty for me to read out. Well, the one that you read out, Kai, was very naughty. But Cattle Dog says Harry playing the victim again. Maybe the Taliban wouldn't be after him if he'd kept his spare mouth shut. There is a point there about the security threat that he faces. Some of it is his own doing. William says, are you joking, Trey? The Lab, Lib and Cons are obsessed with trashing reform. That's all they do. All those parties are proven liars who have failed the country. Reform have not lied or failed us.
Yeah.
OK. Well, Sue says that what Trey's just said is a word. She uses an adjective. I can't say it on air. But she says, Reform do not trash. They defend themselves against evil comments from the uni parties. They are the only party coming up with resolutions to the problems. As I said before, Kemi just gets copies and pastes.
Then if she's so bad, right, and if the Tories, as you say, are lagging behind even though she's popular, then why are they so close to you in the polls, Darren?
It's a fair question.
They're behind us.
But they're close. I said close.
But they've not moved in years. They've not moved.
It's you that's moved, isn't it, Darren?
Darren, it is a fair question.
They haven't moved.
Yeah, but you have, Darren.
Moved.
But you have.
We have, yes, absolutely. Yeah, because there's been a Burnham bounce. But that bounce, it's not been like Tigger-like, has it? That bounce has been more Trigger-like.
There is an argument to say, given how catastrophically bad the previous Conservative government was and how catastrophically bad this Labor government is, that reform should easily be above 30%. And I think,
they were.
And I think many people within Reform would acknowledge that they need to be self-aware enough to understand what they've done well and what they haven't done well, and to learn from that and to improve. Because at the moment, they are not performing as they should, given those circumstances.
OK. Right. It's been reported, my friends, that the Duke of Sussex has privately written to the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, imploring her to reconsider the approach to his security. The Security Committee responsible for protecting royals and public figures has finally completed its long-awaited risk assessment of the Prince Harry and his family's security concerns. That review is understood to have been carried out at the end of July. Now, Prince Harry is said to have been pressing for the outcome ever since being formally notified that the assessment was finished. That completed review raises the possibility that the Sussexes could yet receive state-funded armed protection when they arrive in the United Kingdom. So, my friends, the question is, given the impending arrival of the Sussexes, just who should be footing the bill when they make their way across the pond? Do you get a smell of entitlement in this request to the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood? Well, to discuss this, I'm pleased to welcome the royal journalist Ellen Coughlin. Ellen, thank you so much for your company. Ellen, on the request to Shabana Mahmood, do you understand this being a personal conversation with the Home Secretary, or is this more of a, overseas letter or whatever else?
To be honest, I'm not sure how the conversation went, but I do understand Harry's need for security. I think if you don't understand it, you're crazy. He is a royal at the end of the day. I know he stepped back as a working royal, but he does still need protection. Apparently there was 7 attempts or at least death threats to Harry, Meghan and the rest of the family. So there is a serious threat there. And actually, if you look back at the review that Ravek did in 2019, Harry was given the very highest level of threats, 7 out of 7. So I don't think anything has changed. If anything, things have probably progressed and got worse for Harry and Meghan since their move in 2020.
Yeah, but Ellen, I mean, one of our viewers said earlier, though, that actually writing about his time in Afghanistan in his book Spare, that actually wouldn't have been helpful or conducive to having a good security apparatus around you, would it? Because actually it increases the threat, and also it increases the threat to those that you served alongside of.
Oh, yes. Listen, I don't think that was a good move on Harry's behalf. I think that he did probably put himself a bit more in danger by writing about that. I wonder now, does he regret being so open and honest in that book? I think some things probably could have been kept back for his own safety and his own good. But we do know that a few people are in prison now already for attempts on his life.
Yeah, OK. Ellen, before I bring in the rest of the panel, I just want to say, on the point of the fact that Harry inherited money from Diana's death, untimely death, and the fact is he's received money and funds from lucrative contracts that they tried to make work in the United States of America.
60 million from Netflix, 20 million from Spotify.
Yeah, you're talking massive sums of cash. Why should the British public, we've got £3 trillion worth of debt, why on earth someone that has gone abroad to trash our country, call our beloved monarchy racist, why on earth should we be expected to pay for his security when he's got all of this money himself?
Well, I think that's just the way the royal security is done. Unfortunately, taxpayers are paying for all the royal family's security, including Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And the taxpayers pay £3 million a year for his security, God knows why. So I would rather taxpayers' money go towards Harry, Meghan and their children to keep them safe when there's actually a severe threat on their lives. And actually, I just want to say, Harry never said that the royal family were racist. He said that there was unconscious bias within the palace. So it's very different. And that racism thing has been thrown out there by the media for many years now, but they actually never said the word racist.
Ellen, there are rumours that Meghan has lined up a role in the upcoming Guy Ritchie production, whatever it is. Can you speak to that?
Yes, yeah. Apparently, this is another reason for their move back. Now, the Sussex camp haven't said anything about it. No spokesperson has come out and said that this is definitely happening, but they also haven't denied it. So apparently Guy Ritchie's series, The Gentleman, she's lined up for a starring role in that, and that's on Netflix. So I would love to see her back on the small screen. She was brilliant in Suits, and she'd done a good 10-year stint on that show. So it will be lovely to see her back and doing what she does best.
OK, all right. Thank you so much. That's Ellen Coughlin there, the royal journalist. Now, panel, I must say...
I loved The Gentleman.
I
was really looking forward to the third series, and this completely wrecked it.
It's coming out now, isn't it? That's
yes,
you wouldn't watch it because she's in it?
Even if she was good. Brilliant actress in Suits.
Oh, I loved her.
Yes,
she was quite.
But I don't have good taste.
I did want to mention this because I saw it before I came on air. But Tina Brown tweeted Newsflash, and Tina Brown is a journalist, editor, and author. She says, "I have heard that Meghan Markle's role in Guy Ritchie's Netflix series The Gentleman is off," and she cites the public backlash being too fierce for them to actually countenance her being part of the show. She says this does not bode well for Meghan's acting comeback.
And can I say, what I'm always interested to find out from royal journalists is how much can they speak to, you know, the headlines that we are served about the royals are only part of the picture, because on all camps, and I think Harry and Meghan also do this, they have fierce PR teams behind them who are leaking away and briefing this and that. And that's why I have no sympathy for either side in this royal divorce that they've had between the camp that is still here and Harry and Meghan, because they're all just as bad as each other as far as the press is concerned. So I'm always interested to know where all these stories come from. And I did wonder whether this move back to the UK was actually more to do with promoting Guy Ritchie's new series than anything else.
Well, I've also heard that there are some very canny tax implications of them moving at this particular point in time. I don't know exactly, but apparently they've had very good tax advice, and this has been very timed very, very well in that regard.
Perfect timing, 6 years.
Oh, wow. OK. Maybe the advice from Angela Rayner. I joke. OK, right. Still to come tonight on the Saturday 5. So I apologise to radio listeners because that is a woman, I assume, with a bucket, throwing it around a room. This is coming in to me, breaking news. That was indeed Meghan Markle's new acting career. No, I'm joking, it wasn't. We've got our latest triggered tantrums to bring you, and that was one of them. That'll bring a smile to you after this very short break.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Becky, Chad and the beekeepers, Richard, Mohammed and James. Well, thank you all for coming. So tell us what happened.
So I got a phone call about 7:30 on Sunday evening from one of the rangers to tell us that there was a forest fire that was spreading quite rapidly and the bees were in danger, and if we could get down as soon as we could to get them out.
Oh, I suppose this is a real challenge because bees, whilst they do flit around all over the place, they're pretty stuck to their colonies.
Yes, absolutely. The boys were the ones that were there.
When we approached it, the fire was quite close to the colonies, so we had to make a decision very quickly on whether or not to remove them from the apiary or keep them there and try and just water down the area. And after we saw flames on the horizon, we decided that, no, we've just got to make the decision to move the bees to a safer place, which we did.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
I do think it's worrying that young people, I mean, are they I think they are more risk averse. Yes. I think they are scared of getting into personal space. I think you're right, there are issues about consent and everything else. But how sad that people say that it's been a year since they've been kissed. What is life for if you're not having a little kiss every now and again?
Yeah, the death of the kiss.
Apparently, much younger people now haven't had a good snog in over 12 months on average, the people that have been interviewed. But I would hazard a guess that that's because people are frightened. Men don't know when they can approach women anymore. Men can think 1 or 2 steps ahead on the same board, whereas a woman will think about 18 steps. So
I think you're overthinking it.
If a man takes you to Paris for the weekend, a woman will come back disappointed that they haven't proposed them, whereas a man thinks they've done a really great thing.
Why do men always think you're going to be proposed to in Paris? That you expect that? We don't
men
expect
are not
that. Just take
emotionally
us to
as
Paris.
intelligent.
The People's Channel.
We're only here for like 12 hours. We're flying home at 11 o'clock tonight.
Oh, and mummy and daughter.
Yeah, and it only costs £70, so we thought, well, why not? Because it's cheaper than a supermarket shop.
Supermarket shop or spending the day in Benidorm with cheap booze.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's a no-brainer.
And is there no chance you might just decide we're going to stay?
No, because my husband would kill me.
We did consider it because I said to my mum earlier on, we might just stay and miss the flight, but she's not up for it.
Has your husband actually visited Benidorm the Zone?
No, he hasn't. I've been here 27 times. That's my daughter's first time. She's a Benidorm virgin. But
Well,
my husband's never been.
Not that he's told you anyway, let's put it like that.
GB News, the People's Channel.
A very warm welcome back to the Saturday 5. Now, coming up from 8 p.m, we've got the Saturday Scrap, where 2 of our heathens will be going head-to-head in that. And you'll find out what the topic is after the break. But first of all, it's the triggered tantrums. Trey, what have you got?
So I've got this very smart MAGA supporter claiming that Obama has rigged the elections. Let's take a look.
You feel that the 2020 election was fair?
Nope. It wasn't since Obama came in.
No way.
It was rigged. They're just been rigged.
Since Obama?
Correct.
Why did Trump win the 2016 election if Obama had already rigged it?
I don't know.
But why would he let that happen if he had already rigged everything?
Man, that's further up the chain. I don't know on that info.
Well, maybe, like the rest of the American public, he didn't like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, probably not. You know what's interesting, though? His T-shirt is LGBT.
Yes.
Do you think he actually supports LGBT?
Maybe he doesn't know what it stands for.
No, he's actually got a different acronym on there.
Yeah, it
does.
It's got firearms for G.
Yeah. The G stands for guns, and then I'm assuming...
So L is liberty, G is guns, and the T is Trump. I'm not sure what the B was. I guess he thought it was being clever. What would the B be?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Right. Anyway, before we explore that in very before battered sausage. I'll come back to the sausage. Will, speaking of sausages,
you will. Yes, Darren. I like to think of myself as a cultured man, at least as cultured as an Australian can be.
I was going to say.
So I like to check in on what's happening in the art world from time to time. This is award-winning artist Jessica Cook with her latest piece, Art, in Brooklyn.
So, Will, for radio listeners, can you explain the scene?
I probably can't, but I'll give it a go. It is a woman with a bucket tied to a rope, pulling the rope around her body and then doing high kicks, which would make John Cleese's silly walk very proud. And it goes to show the woke lefty artist just stuck in their own...
No, she's a left.
Of course she is.
How does that have to be a culture?
Sorry, it is a video from Brooklyn. Yes. Although I'm not convinced that it's not actually a video of Nigel Farage in Clacton.
That's what I thought.
At the Count fighting a bin.
She also had a really bad pair of trousers on.
Well, she did a phenomenal... Do you know when John Cleese did the goose step? She had a phenomenal kick.
She did.
That's what it
She had
looked
a very
like.
good kick.
A ministry of silly walks.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
That's what it was, yes. Right, OK. Now, I need to talk to you about my sausage to explain to you what it actually is. Have a look on screen here now. So I was at a event for the emergency services.
High
it was
class.
an emergency service fund day, right? And I went up to one of our local establishments that had a van there, and I ordered a battered sausage with some chips, and it was absolutely delicious.
You're such
So
a
I
northerner.
posted on... yeah, it was phenomenal. I posted on my Instagram story, to be specific, saying that I was delighted to have had this and that it went down a treat. And I said, you know, very carry on, sort of Kenneth Williams, matron. And then this happened. So you can see here that they've posted on their TikTok account, they got a stream of messages from lefties saying, why have you platformed this person? And the business there being pictured, telling people that actually they may want to reconsider going to this business or patronising this business. And they're deeply disappointed that I posted a picture saying I enjoyed a local business, and they said we even had Labour MPs come visit us as well. They were basically on bended knee.
Do you remember what I said earlier about the left are now the fascists?
Yeah,
they're the fascists. That's what that
sausage.
is.
No, over a sausage. So
all it means is you need to find a new place to batter your sausage, Darren.
Well, they haven't banned me. They haven't.
They haven't banged you.
Banned.
Oh, well, it wasn't a fun day for you at the emergency services party.
It was actually. I had a good time.
Nothing against the restaurant. I'm sure it's a wonderful establishment. But what on earth are you doing eating a battered sausage?
They're delicious.
Oh no, that's my order.
So bad for your arteries.
Well, but they're so nice.
Not for me.
They are so nice, and they go down a treat.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
We call them a battered sub in Australia.
Oh, like a saveloy.
They're different though. Saveloy.
Yeah, saveloys are worse, I think.
No, I like saveloys, but they're probably not
disgusting.
even as healthy as a sausage.
Is saveloy longer?
They're red and pink.
They're red, and it's just scraped together meat. It's very processed. It's disgusting.
So hang on a minute, Renee. You've just turned your nose up at a battered sausage.
I went for something worse.
You long for a
I like
processed,
saveloy.
long and thin sausage.
Yeah.
Saveloy. Well,
no, I'm not so convinced.
No,
I like it. No.
What does this show become?
Yes. Anyway, all right. My friends, we'll see you after this very, very short break, and it'll be the Saturday Scrap after this, where we'll find out what it is that we'll be debating, because right now I don't know. The suspense is absolutely killing me, my friends. I can't wait, because I think, actually, we'll also find out which one of you is going to go up against each other. So, find out after this very short break.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Turning chilly again tonight under clear skies. It leads us into a settled day tomorrow, though we are expecting some more rain and showers in the forecast through into next week. For the time being, though, it remains settled, all thanks to high pressure continuing to build out from the west. It does bring in a northerly flow of air, so feeling a bit cooler around any exposed coastal areas this evening. And overall tonight, across much of the UK, it is going to be feeling that bit chillier, another autumnal feel as we head towards Sunday morning. Under clear skies, temperatures could dip down to around the low single figures, though most towns and cities holding up between 9 to 13 degrees Celsius. Then to start the day on Sunday, a bit cloudier perhaps across parts of Scotland. This cloud will be thick enough to produce some very light outbreaks of rain across the far north. We could also see some mist and fog in places, similar across Northern Ireland as well. But if any mist and fog does develop, it should clear quite quickly through the course of Sunday morning. Elsewhere across England and Wales, it should be a dry and bright start to the day. Plenty of blue skies to go around. And overall, the picture on Sunday is another dry, settled day. Lots of sunshine, especially across much of England. Perhaps a few more in the way of cloudier skies across Scotland and Northern Ireland, but though should still remain mostly dry here. And we've still got a slight northerly breeze around some eastern coast, so feeling a little bit cooler here. But with more sunshine around, we'll see slightly higher temperatures, so highs reaching around 23 to 24 degrees Celsius in the south. Then on Monday, it's a very similar picture, another chilly start, mostly dry with some sunny, if not bright spells. But later on into the afternoon, we could eventually start to see some showers develop, certainly across the south. Some of these could be heavy and thundery. Dry through the first part of next week, but turning more showery later and also a little bit more humid.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the biggest, greatest Great British giveaway of the year so far.
Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, this brand new McClure Fusion could be yours. We'll also boost your bank account too with a further £35,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like.
For a chance to win, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB23 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 23rd of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome back to the Saturday 5. It is indeed Saturday night, and this is the UK's biggest Saturday night TV show. I'm Darren Grimes, and I resign. Do you know that teleprompter says I'm Alex Armstrong?
I know. I know.
Who?